This woman right here knows where all the bodies are buried. And I'm not talking corpses. I'm not talking the fresh-faced sorority girl the president of Warner Brothers ran over with his Ford Fiat after a long, long night of hard cocaine and hooker blood being pumped intravenously directly into his veins. Oh, no. You know, that's a simple ka-thunk, that's an accident. Oh, no. She knows where the art is buried. The corpses that, when they are dug up, display such a horrific fascination for human anatomy that you'll see veteran crime scene investigators vomiting by the side of the road. The kind of corpses that break up marriages because the mortuary guy wakes up screaming every night for the rest of his life. That is the kind of remains she knows where is and who made. Created. I wouldn't want to insult this particular individual after all, because Velma is getting a second season. Holy shit. I don't know if this is proof that miracles do happen or that there is a god. Well, actually, it is proof of the opposite, because if there is a god, well, there is a Satan as well, and if there is only one with the other, then, well, there you go, positive proof, finally. This is, I believe this is actually the single worst animated show, ever. Which, it deserves those accolades, thoroughly. Like, Velma is not so much bad as it is disgusting. It is not so much awful as it is disturbing. The previous comparison to the grisly murder of God only knows how many dozens of people turned into practical art pieces, well, that's very fitting because that's what Velma is. It is a brutal, visceral, and highly innovative murder of a character and a franchise that is frankly not really that popular and hasn't been for a very, very, very long time. And yet it was dug out of the ground and mutilated beyond recognition, to the point where most human would just look at it and go like, wow, that's a fancy tree branch, squeezed and dry as it is. And, okay, you know what actually probably happened here? Here's the thing, right? So, the show did extraordinarily poorly when it first released. It didn't even, I think, it rank on the Nielsen figures, which means that it didn't get a whole lot of streaming hours. People weren't watching this show because, well, I suspect not that many people were interested in Velma, a Scooby-Doo spin-off without the Scooby-Doo, which thank God for that, incidentally. But then there was a 127% spike in popularity as it became the worst rated show ever. And you know what? I understand. See, this isn't so much marketing via ass. It isn't so much, a show so bad you gotta watch it. It isn't so much outrage clickbait by making a terrible show that everyone has to review. No. This is a multi-car pileup. This is a multi-car pileup at a train crossing involving a school bus and the entire cheerleading population of the United States. Like, it's the kind of accident where there's a queue forming, and it's not because of the accident, because the other accident is off the road. It's because of all the people who slow down and just wow as they go past. This is the day for morbid analogies, because it is exactly what is fitting for Velma. It was so bad. Everyone had to watch at least one episode and just marvel at it. And you know what? I understand. I don't blame them. The morbid curiosity must be overwhelming because at the end of the day, no matter how bad you imagine Velma is, no matter how awful you think it is, no matter how gross you think it is, it's worse. Unironically, it is worse. Jesus Christ, and this is the Morbius effect again, where a bunch of internet trolls managed to convince the head honchos to produce a full-on Morbius movie. And they created so much buzz about it on the internet that they were like, well, is it popular? Isn't it popular? Nobody's watching it, but everybody's talking about it. What the hell is going on? And hey, you know what? You know what the worst part is? Let's assume for a second here, right, that this was a brilliant plan, an incredibly clever marketing scheme, right? Because, by God, I half think it might have been. When a bunch of people sat down in a room and they made a list of every awful thing they could possibly imagine. Like the worst, grossest, most racist, most awful, abusive shit they could think of in the modern day context. And they turned that into a television show to dump it into the lowest rated show ever. To get everyone to talk about it at least once, like I did. I'm part of the problem here, I suppose. And then they follow it up with the second season, where Velma wakes up, she's white again. It was all a dream. And Scooby-Doo just goes like, Velma, you look awful. What did you dream about? And then, after that, it's just a classic Scooby-Doo show. You know what, it'd be so funny, I would forgive the entire first season were it to happen, but, you know, it's not. But it would be funny, you can't deny, like, it would be Muv-Luv on steroids. And in case you don't know, by the way, Muv-Luv is my favorite visual novel ever because I'm an enormous weeb. And half of the reason for it is because the first game, it is a banal dating sim shit game. Okay, it is so stereotypical, it bores you to sleep. It is every trope, it is every contrivance, it is every cliche you've ever seen from the genre. And then the world is attacked by giant bugs, everybody is dying, you are humanity's last hope, and you are likely to survive for 5 minutes tops before being torn to death by a bunch of invading monster aliens the size of houses. Your friends are dying, your teachers get eaten alive, and suddenly, you're like, wow, that was a twist and a half. Because it was. And it places you in an... how do I even put it? It places you in a mindset where you get into one state of mind and it completely flips it. And it makes everything else so much more impactful because of the state of mind you were in. And then it even follows it up with a brilliant sequel, which is just basically 100% pure payoff after the whiplash of the previous one. It worked really well. Now, whether or not that lightning could ever be reproduced, I don't know. And frankly, it's not like it's gonna happen. We've arrived in theoretical land, and we've blown well past those borders long ago, but it would be something. It would probably make the woman who knows where the bodies are into an absolute genius. But, again, it's not actually gonna happen. Because Velma was an awful show. Velma herself was a self-insert. And for some reason, I don't think that's going to be conducive to quality in the long term. But, hey, you gotta respect the grift, don't you? You gotta respect the game, if nothing else. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And, yeah, this was a coup. This was a steal. She gets to get a paycheck from Warner Brothers for another few years, plus royalties over this. Well done. That's all I have to say. Well done. Until next time, I've been Arch. Have a good day.